Islam is a religion of conquest. I repeat, Islam is a religion of conquest. What happened in Ijebu is an abomination to the Yoruba culture and civilization. I repeat, what transpired with the burial of the Awujale is an abomination on the Yoruba culture, heritage, and civilization. If you don't want to be buried in a traditional way, do not ascend the traditional throne. I repeat, if you don't want to be buried in a traditional way, forget about traditional titles and the traditional throne. How would you bury the Awujale in a Muslim way? Somebody that ascended the throne traditionally. Imagine you are burying a traditional king in a Muslim way. Would the Sultan of Sokoto be buried in a Christian way? The Sultan of Sokoto, they will go and bury him in a Christian way. Religion was brought into Africa. We had our culture and civilizations. If that religion you are bringing tries to undermine my identity as a person, first of all, you are a Yoruba, you are an Igbo, an Hausa, before you are a Christian or Muslim. Anything that undermines that is a threat to your existence. If I ask you what is your name, you tell me your name. Where are you from? You tell me where you are from. It gives you that identity of sense of belonging in this planet Earth. If I ask you, you tell me your name and you don't know where you are from. You don't know where your people, your great grandfathers are from. They will sell you. You have no identity, you have no relevance. So why is it that these people are using Sharia in the guise of Islam and everything, trying to undermine our cultural heritage? Why am I concerned about what is happening in the Southwest? Because it is easy. When they capture the Southwest, they can move over to Southeast Nigeria. And you know, say, those traditional rulers in the Southeast, most of them, they are lost. It's just to drink palm wine and chop bush meat. There's no vision. They really are not doing anything tangible to preserve the culture of the Igbo people. So if they're able to conquer Southwest, they are easy. It's easy for them to use their own missionary, enter Southeast. I've told you the reason why the Fulani have not really invaded the whole of Southeast because of the Middle Belt. Just recently, 20 persons were killed in Plateau Jos. So I'm much more concerned because if our culture, look at what happened to Ilorin. The Yorubas have been making efforts to use political means in every sort of way to take over Ilorin. The Emir of Ilorin banned Isheshe practice. What is bad in your traditional rites? We know that some of the things that are happening, the things that we practiced in the past, most of them are barbaric. We can upgrade and update it the way the other people upgrade their religion and Christianity. We had the Old Testament and it was upgraded to the New Testament. So our culture of old, we can upgrade it ourselves. Not somebody coming to undermine. You neglect the traditional rites. You neglected it. And you are burying an Awujale since 1962, I believe. Over 60 years, he has been on the throne. You are burying is an insult to the tradition. So how do they crown the next king? Is it through Islamic rites they are going to crown the next king? I've been talking about this undermining of our culture and heritage for a very long time. And people think that it is all plays. I'm so angry with my Eastern brothers because some young people abroad are beginning to hear the message and they are reviving the culture. But those ones in the villages and towns, what are they doing? What are they doing? The consciousness of who you are. We had our science. You see, what the Oyibo has done to us, my brother, what the Oyibo has done to us, the damage they have caused. Do you know that Jesus is a black man? I've said this before. But as young people, these whites will come and give us the impression that Jesus is a white man. They will lie to you. So many things that we have been told are lies. The Roman Catholic Church did a lot of damage to what we know as a people. Imagine, you look at the map of the world. Africa is small, Europe is big. But in the sense of it, Africa is bigger. They are creating, so they want to undermine who you are. The British came into Nigeria, policy of assimilation. Why? Turn Nigerians to British. The same in French colonies. They want you to, they believe that your identity is not supposed to be of this world. It's not needed. You should collapse your culture and heritage and embrace theirs, because theirs is perfect. So what happened is a big blow on the Yoruba nation, on the Yoruba people. I see some people try to defend that. You see what the Fulani has done to the Hausas in northern Nigeria, and you see how difficult is it for you to dislodge the Fulani in Kwara State. Look at politically, the Fulani, they are doing all they can to make sure that they take over power from southern Nigeria. They want to dominate every prospect, every aspect of your life. That is their aim and what they're willing to do. And we are here seated, we are looking at ourselves. My brother, it is better that we restructure and divide this country before they use all these things and enter you. Soldiers, federal government, soldiers, you are sending away traditionalists from the burial of a traditional ruler that got involved. Because of the tradition, he is recognized. Because of tradition, the people obey him and accept him. Because of the tradition, he has influence. Because of the tradition, not because of his religion. Not because of his religion. You see, there's when even the Christians themselves are not so desperate. They are not so barbaric and so want to undermine people. But this thing, the Fulani, I see the hand of the Fulani in every. People don't understand the way this will roll. Somebody says Dakwa Abiodun has committed an abomination. Awujale cannot be buried like that. Fix it now. My question is, can it be fixed? Where they are even burying the Awujale, it is a traditional burial ground. There's nothing Muslim about the Awujale, about the culture surrounding Awujale. There's nothing Muslim. If you look at the history, let's look at it. Okay, in 1960, during the installation of the late Oba Dr. S.K. Adetono as the Awujale of Ijebu, a special ritual was performed. A ritual was performed traditionally, not Muslim rites. A ritual was performed. After retrieving him from Odo, the Elese of Ilese carried the Awujale across the Ilese stream because it was forbidden for the Awujale's feet to touch the water. According to the tradition, according to tradition, the Awujale was never to look at the Elese again, as this was believed to break the ceremonial bond. This ritual was part of the traditional ceremonies following his nomination by the Odis and was officially conducted on April 2nd, 1960. The installation of the Awujale was done traditionally, but the burial was done Islamically. Who is dominating now? Is it Islam? Is Islam dominating in the southwest? Somebody says, thank God that all Yoruba states, all Yorubas are not Islam. If not, this by force. That's why we spoke against Sharia. Let us bring Sharia. Sharia is going to help us bring morality. Left, right, center. They are saying all sort of things. Bring when they eventually stamp their foot, dig a foundation, when they bring in that Sharia, they will not start using manipulation, sorcery, juju, and force. Political Islamization, sorcery, and force. Before you allow them, they will come as people, peaceful people, like Jehovah's Witness. We have come in peace. You have come as your brothers. They will come respectfully. But when they have stamped their foot and they have grown in their number, my brother, you will not see the real color of these guys. The same thing happening in Kwara, Ilorin. Somebody said, I overheard somebody said that the reason why Buhari was brought in as the president is to stop Yorubas from taking over Ilorin. Beyond all these politics, everybody, they deceive themselves. It is all about conquest. I talked about the three most popular people in the history of northern Nigeria. 3 of them are Fulani. 3 most popular people in the history of northern Nigeria. 3 of them are Fulani. One is Uthman Danfodio, the father of all these politicians you see today. What was the aim of Uthman Danfodio? Is conquest. and they have never stopped pursuing that aim in Nigeria today. Should be when Buhari was president, water resources, grazing routes, ranching, all have you, just to impose the Fulani on Nigerians. Make sure the Fulani has a base. As we speak, all over southern Nigeria, the Fulani are in our bushes. What can you do? You where you come from, me where I come from, Abia State. I don't know if the bush past a Fulani. Fulani, they are bush. They are respectfully moving along with their parents peacefully, because they know that hand will touch them. We know where they are. They know say hand will touch them if they do anything. When a Fulani is in power, you now see the real side of them. Most of the kidnappings going on in the southeast, let me tell you the truth, it is from our boys. Not all of them, most. Some people take advantage. Look at Enugu State. Some people take advantage of what the Fulani has been doing in the past, and they start doing their own. Some people will just come out from London to your village. Some boys in the village will be planning on how to kidnap you and get money from you. That's the newest. Like I said, when they started all this kidnapping, Boko Haram, bombing and everything, I said one thing to somebody that time. If Igbos copy this thing, it go bad. If they start to do the kidnap, they do their own bomb and everything, it go bad. And they overdo. So it is clear that Buhari wanted to continue in the footsteps of Uthman Danfodio. That is why they call them the most popular. How so on a day here, all these things are happening. Fulani will come on social media and say the most popular Buhari was the religion in northern Nigeria. It's because he was following the footsteps of Uthman Danfodio. The same with Ahmadu Bello. Anybody that follows in the footsteps of Uthman Danfodio is a religion in northern Nigeria. That is why it is difficult for me to say. It is difficult for me to say that Atiku will inherit Buhari's successors. Can Atiku come out boldly, because he has been claiming to be liberal? He's liberal for all Nigerians. Can he come out boldly and push the narratives of Uthman Danfodio as a president? Would he still follow in the footsteps of Buhari? Because as we stand now, only northern Nigeria, now then they praise our politicians that want to play politics. Now then they praise Buhari. Northern extremists, northern Islamic jihadists, northern Islamists, now them they praise Buhari because the man stood on the principles of Uthman Danfodio. Whatever you want to say about it, that is what Buhari is. So as it is, one of the aims of Uthman Danfodio is to go to a place, introduce Islam, use Islam to undermine your culture, your heritage, and whatever represents you, whatever you are, forcefully impose their own laws, bringing in Sharia on you. Over the years, one thing you do over and over again, repeatedly, over and over again, they force you to do it repeatedly. It becomes a norm. You see it as a normal thing. That's why some people are being kidnapped. When they kidnap them, after so many months in captivity, they fall in love with their captor. It is prevalent among all these Al-Qaeda and all these Islamic kidnappers and terrorists. When they kidnap you, they put you through a process where they break you and you fall in love with them. Imagine a slave falling in love with their captor. I see that in Ilorin. A bona fide Yoruba person pledging allegiance to the Fulani Caliphate. A bona fide Yoruba person. They are banning Isheshe practice. And you are there supporting them, clapping for them. They are banning Isheshe. It is bad, it is bad. I see some Christians attacking a young man. Somebody put out a tweet. It might be long. Okay, let me read this. Somebody says, shame on every Yoruba person supporting the embarrassment going on in Ijebu-Ode. What's happening is not just an insult to one town, it's a disgrace to our entire institution. The throne of a Yoruba king belongs to the Orisha. Note, it belongs to the Orisha, not to Islam or Islamic rites, not to the Hadith. It is called tradition for a reason. How dare we sit back while our rights are erased in silence? Tell me, would the Sultan of Sokoto attend a Christian crusade? Would the King of Saudi Arabia allow a church to be built near Mecca? No. Why should an Arabian burial system be forced on our own kings in Yoruba land? These are salient and vital questions. Why would you force a Muslim or Arabian burial on Yoruba kings? They say force to force. You know here now, I say force. You force it. You did not do the will of the people because soldiers sent away. If not, they will have shot the traditionalists. Now the next king now, who will crown now? Who will crown the next king? Let's move on. So why would an Arabian burial system be forced on our kings in Yoruba land? If freedom of religion is respected across the earth, but even Saudi Arabia protects its tradition, where you got your Islam from, they protect their tradition, but you expect others not to protect their own tradition. Why are we allowing foreign systems to overtake our own sacred rights? This is uncalled for, and it is a shame. Islam in this context has brought nothing but disruption, war, confusion, the destruction of culture and tradition, and then, like a pattern, it takes over lands that never belonged to it. Wake up, Yoruba. Enough is enough. One thing I expect the Yoruba Ronu to be proficient, to be active in, is this kind of thing. People are systematically taking your lands systematically without any rejection or any I don't know how to put it. You cannot stop them. They are taking it systematically. Instead, you are involved in political Ronu that you can dissolve at any. The Igbos are not even a threat. This political Islam and Pentecostal Christian is a threat to your tradition. I'm a Christian, very good Christian, very deep Christian. I went to theology. I've gone through a lot of doctrines and teachings. I know what I'm saying. About your identity, your culture, and your access to God. Your access to God is very important. We know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. But Jesus will not undermine your identity as a person. He knows you are. God knew for him to split everybody into different languages. Would you blame God if you are not able to preserve that language he gave to you? As an Igbo person, I refuse to observe my traditional rights. There needs to be an upgrade. I understand that some of our practices, they are barbaric. Like somebody who is said to be a king in African culture and tradition, they bury some people with the king. We can look at those areas and correct it, however, but that does not mean we undermine the whole culture and tradition of a people. We can decide what becomes a culture, but not Islam deciding for us. Because Islam in itself is not perfect. In itself, if it's perfect, look at those that are practicing Islam and look at their different approach, their lifestyle, and how they live with their fellow neighbors. Look at most people that are terrorists are from Islam in the whole world. Terrorism. Where we have bandits, we have Lakurawa, all sorts. They are all Muslims. So everyone has their own deficiencies, whatever it is. It can be upgraded. The Bible, we had an Old Testament. Jesus came in not to abolish the law, but to mend the law. The New Testament came in. So there are chances for improvement. Not that you come and say this culture. No, this part of the culture, we can look into it and have an adjustment. I don't know what they call it. I've forgotten what they call it in Yoruba. I just remember that I've forgotten. When a king dies, there's some people that are supposed to be buried with the king. Yes. Look at somebody that says so. Said, look at this person. Nothing special about Awujale crowning. We will not be surprised if the next Awujale is crowned in the church or mosque. Kabiyesi late Adetona has destroyed the cultural heritage of burying and installing Awujale. So nothing special about crowning of Awujale again. Now, what happened, what transpired is undermining the cultural heritage. Remember, the Awujale, since the inception of Nigeria, or the independence, 1962, you know, it's a very long time. They have practiced that tradition. Now, somebody just comes and does a different thing entirely. Many people that were not born or were born into the presence of the Awujale would think it's the normal thing. Yes, they would think it's the normal thing that the Awujale can be buried at Christian procession or Muslim procession. I don't know who are the people that are pushing this agenda and propaganda, whatever it is, in the Southwest. But it is not good. Politically, it's not good. Socially, socially, it is not good for Southern Nigeria. Do not allow the Fulani, they are on that level of politicking. They are on politicking. They believe that they are better. An average Fulani believes that he's better than you 100%. He doesn't care. He believes that he's much more. He has the right. They believe they get Nigeria. They believe they are to dominate Nigeria. They believe that everybody in Nigeria will bow to them, whether it is through your culture or religion. So I'm afraid that these things are happening with somebody like Awujale. You know what it is? That is why they want the kings embrace Islam. It's not harmful. Islam is not harmful. Embrace Islam. When an Islamic fundamentalist hold power, he will be pressuring you. The way Tinubu is playing his politics, try to pressure governors to join the APC, like the one he's doing to Osun State governor. The same way these Islamic jihadist fundamentalists are going to pressure you to join their religion. There's one man they call Alex Ichegwe, Abia State, representing Abia State. I heard that one joined Islam. So they use power, political power, to conjure you into accepting Islam. And this is the result of what really happens at the end of the day. The Awujale, a traditional stool, someone that ascended the throne traditionally. They had to chase people away, traditionalists that brought him to the throne. They chased them away because of Islam. I have said this, we don't want Sharia in southern Nigeria. This thing they're introducing will undermine you and you become slaves. Look at what is happening in the north and the Hausas. It is a lesson for us all.